Well, hello, GracePoint family. Today is the time for me to share our regathering communication piece. And this is very important for all of us. And some of us will be okay with the content of this message. Some of you will struggle with it. We understand that. That's one of the challenges of leadership decisions, is not everyone will fully be on board. We just ask that you'd listen all the way through. And most importantly, I pray that you'd hear my heart in this. These are not easy decisions. But before I walk you through where we're going with regathering as a church family, I wanted to give you the context, kind of like the context of this quarantine season that has greatly impacted our decisions and choices that we've had to make or need to make. The first phase was just scrambling to get an online service, and how do we care for people and how do we keep people safe? And it was just a scrambling season and of doing all that we needed to do. And one of the early decisions I asked our leaders to make is to contact everyone in our church 65 years and older because of their age demographic, and we just wanted to see how they're doing and how could we care for them. Not only that, then we wanted to see ways that we could be a blessing to our local community. But that was a season of scrambling to do all of that. Then the next phase, the next kind of season of decision making was adjustments. Hopefully you've seen the adjustments we've made in our online services, and we're still making adjustments. We're still trying to improve. We've also adjusted our staff to like an all hands on deck mentality and moving people out of certain roles to assist in other roles that needed their assistance. We also made adjustments of how do we connect with our church family outside of Sunday. We made adjustments of how to love and lead you remotely. And so that's continued to be a season of learning and adjusting. And then what's going on now is we've made some decisions because we want to make permanent adjustments from what we've learned, what we've observed. And probably the biggest permanent adjustment is that we made a decision recently that moving forward, even out of this season, we want to provide an online worship service for not only our GracePoint family here in Kitsap County, but friends and family outside of this area, for those who can't be here for a lot of reasons. That is requiring us to make expensive purchases in the audio video equipment. So we're still learning and unpacking, because the decisions we make to purchase equipment is not just going to affect us in the next few months, but we want to make wise decisions that will affect us in the years to come. So let me unpack the current plan for regathering here at GracePoint. I'm going to explain the what, the why, and then finish up of what we need to hear from you, get feedback from you. So here's the what. The what is we are going to continue, for the time being, our online GracePoint worship services. That is what we're going to continue to do for now. When Kitsap County goes to phase 3, we will not only continue having our online services, but we're going to begin what I call the house party phase, encouraging you to gather in small communities, gather together with a group of people, under 50, but maybe ideas that want to plan in your head now to think of who can we invite over to watch the online services together. Maybe friends or family or life groups gathering together to watch a service. It doesn't have to be on Sunday morning. It could be Sunday afternoon or Sunday night or during the week. Maybe it's new people or neighbors that have been watching that you can join together. Maybe you gather around a meal but do it safely. Phase 3 will also open up our building for like smaller Bible studies to gather and to meet, or life groups to come here. So that is in phase 3 for Kitsap County, the kind of the house party of how can we gather together with more people. We're also going to be thinking as a staff, what can we do, certain events that we can do to help people to get outside their homes and come here for just some fun events, some fun gathering events. When Kitsap County goes to phase 4, we are going to have full services on site here at GracePoint. There'll be a service in the auditorium. There'll be GracePoint kids downstairs, student ministries back on Sunday night. That's when phase 4 is opened up here in Kitsap County. That's the what. Now let me tell you the why. The size of GracePoint Church is a blessing, but it's a blessing that adds complexity. That's just a fact of life that churches wrestle with. If we would choose to scale in services here earlier than phase 4, we would be putting elderly people in the high risk capacity in a difficult situation. Most of them would choose to not gather in a meeting like that, but that would be putting them in an awkward situation. We would be putting those who have immune deficiencies or challenges in a difficult situation. Most likely, if we would phase live services in, there would be no children's ministry. Our church is really into 3 sections. We have 1/3 of our church is 65 years and older. That's a blessing. 1/3 of our church is in the middle stage of life. And then 1/3 of our church is the millennials and younger. To not have our wonderful elderly GracePoint family with us and not having children's ministry, the thought of excluding or putting them in really awkward situations or difficult situations to make a choice, excluding significant members of our GracePoint family is not something we're willing to do at this point. That's some of the reason why. The situation that we're facing, these decisions that are difficult, are not based on a few things. They're not based on politics. We're not making decisions with the First Amendment issue in mind. We love that about our country, but we're not making decisions through the lens of politics. We're not making decisions based upon what other churches are doing. They need to be led the way God leads them. And we're pleading with God to lead us here at GracePoint the way He wants us to be led. And we're not making these decisions of what we want to do. If it was up to me, if I could just wave a wand and do whatever I want, I would open up services this Sunday for everyone. Some of you listening to the what we're going to do in this season is disappointing to you. Let me just tell you, I'm disappointed too. I don't like teaching to an empty room, but I don't want to exclude important members of our church family. So this is not what we want to do, but we believe this is the wise decision for us at this season of our church. Now, what we need from you is we want to hear from you. We want to hear how you're doing. We want to hear what are your thoughts of when we are able to regather here on site, what you're thinking. So what we're doing is we're going to give a survey. We're going to email a survey out to those of you who call GracePoint your home, and we would love for you to take some time and go through the questions and let us know how you're doing. What are you doing with this situation? How it's impacted your family? And if you do not receive an email, you can go onto gracepointkitsap.info and take the survey yourself. How you're doing, your perspective on this difficult season that we're going through is important for us to hear from you. But in closing, I just want to say a huge thank you. Thank you for giving us as leaders grace. It's not easy. Thank you for the grace given, and also thank you for continuing to pray that God would give us His wisdom to make decisions for His church here at GracePoint. We love you. I love you. I miss you. And the hardest thing is to see some of you in town and I can't hug you and I can't be close to you. But that day will come, and what a day that will be. Thank you very much.